build Rome in a day, in a week or a year. Can't make the blind see or make a deaf man hear. Can't part the waters or speak in tongues, but anything for you, consider it done.
All right, welcome to another In Conversation with Cat TV. And as promised, we have the band Chamberlain here. Gary, as a matter of fact, from the band Chamberlain. Gary, how are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Lori?
I'm doing well. I really appreciate you taking time out of your extremely busy schedule to come on. I know it's not always easy to make time, especially with your new single. We first started playing. I'm trying to make sure that I get the band Chamberlain. Is it the band Chamberlain or just band Chamberlain?
Just band Chamberlain. I mean,
Band
if you want to be like Ohio, like the Ohio State University.
There you go.
Those on it.
Well, we started spinning your music with like Johnny Cash, and that did so well. And I was really glad when your people sent it over because it's just an awesome song. We had lots of requests for it. It's been getting a lot of radio play. So when you mentioned that you had a new single coming out, we were very, very excited. Excited for you, but also excited for us because it's new music. And you were very gracious, and you gave us the rights to spin it first. Originally, I was thinking I was going to spin on mine first, but the great Don Pierce spoke up and was like, "No, I trump everybody," and and he's been spinning it, which really works out wonderful for you. He's got a huge following, several different FM stations that he's affiliated with his show, and it's just doing great.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were very, very lucky, very, very blessed.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, for sure.
So, who is that with you?
This is my beautiful wife, Holly.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
I'm doing well. I figured so. I just didn't want to assume because I did get contacted by Holly to make sure that we had all the information, and she made sure I had the correct email address. So I assumed that's who you had with you.
Yes.
Yes,
Put
absolutely.
a name to the face.
There you go.
All right,
So-
Ann.
Tell the audience out there, everybody that's listening and watching, a little bit about yourself and how you came into music and where you're from, and people want to know.
It's quite a story. I was fortunate enough when I was a kid. I was a teenager. I went and had a birthday. Went and bought a karaoke machine with my birthday money, and kept my mom up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, and she, kept me singing, Kenny Rogers' Lucille, and that was the only country song that was on the cassette tape that came with the karaoke machine at the time, and some other songs was like Vanilla Ice, Ice Ice Baby, and Wind Beneath My Wings, Bette Midler, things like that, which I did come to learn that as well, because when you only have 4 songs, you kind of learn them really quick when you're a kid, and But I kept my mom up till the wee hours of the morning, and she made some phone calls and spoke with some folks in our local town that we were living in here in Indiana. And she got me booked, I was 14 years old, got me booked to play at the Fisher's Freedom Festival. And I performed there, and it was a very big, booming festival here in Indiana. And WFMS and a few other radio stations, things like that, larger networks here in Indy, really helped us out tremendously. Started booking us up at all their local events here, and started booking me at for large openers here in Indy. And it really kind of took off from there. When I was a kid, I was fortunate enough to I toured with Garth Brooks and Vince Gill, and had really, really crazy experiences. I could probably talk your ear off for a good 3 or 4 hours of just telling you some crazy things that I personally experienced back in the day. But I turned 18. It was a lot on my shoulders. I had a lot of financial responsibility, I guess you could say, when you're 15, 16 years old, and you've got your extended family kind of traveling with you and wanting to experience it all with you. And of course I wanted them with me as well, but it was just a lot on my shoulders. We'd come back from these tours and things would be taken care of. Everybody'd have mortgages and car payments would be paid, and I turned 18, typical 18-year-old kid, got stubborn. I was like, okay, I'm going to take a break, guys. I can do this on my own. I took a 2 or 3 month break and tried to jump back into it, and I had no clue what I was doing. I was a typical dumb 18-year-old kid. Couldn't get a booking one, had no clue what I was doing. And so I became depressed. I joined the military, served 6 years in the Army, and I was a police officer for 10 and a half years here in Indiana. And my children, who are grown now, my daughter specifically came to me and she's like, Dad, you just need to do music again. And I started playing music and started writing music and met this beautiful woman, and it was kind of history ever since. I've got 4 beautiful children. They are absolutely my life. My oldest son, he's attending Ball State University here in Indiana, and my daughter, she's attending Indiana State University. I did have a 2-year-old boy that passed away in a house fire in 2006, but he would have been number 3. And then my number 4, my youngest, Peyton, he's a freshman in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very blessed. And Holly, I've got 3 little ones that I kind of like to claim, whether she likes it or not, but she's got three adorable ones as well.
We call those bonus children.
Yes. There you go.
Absolutely.
Bonus children. So first of all, thank you for your service. And I mean that from my whole heart. Of course, Dan's my husband, and he's retired Marine. My son's in the Marines right now. So what was it like going from, so you were 18 years old, and, you already had this music career where you're dealing with people like Garth Brooks, some really big heavy hitters out there, to all of a sudden straight into the Army. And I'm pretty sure, I'm going to go out on a limb here, I'm pretty sure they didn't care about who you played with, So what was that like? Those are like 2 so different worlds.
Well,
a man of many hats.
Well, when I came back and I took my break, I met my first wife, and like the old story goes, I guess, I ended up knocking her up, and
good job.
Yeah, right. And my sister had actually went through a relationship, and my niece had to grow up her whole life without a father in her life. And when I was a teenager and I saw that happen to my older sister, I was like, well, I'll never do that to a child ever. So when when we found out that my first wife was pregnant, I was doing what I thought was the right thing, and was, I married her and ended up having, 3 more beautiful children. And, but after the house fire and things just really didn't work out. Like, we did a lot of research. It was just a lot to, it was just a lot to get through and really work through. And a lot of marriages, unfortunately, do fail when a loss of a child happens. And we were an example of that, I guess. And things did not work out, obviously, for the better in my circumstance, I would say.
Well, they say God never gives you more than what you can handle. So,
right.
And like you said, and now you have Holly, and you've got your bonus children, and y'all's children are doing great, and they must be so proud of you sitting back and watching, because when you came out with like Johnny Cash, we get so many submissions sent to us. And most of them we just send right on to the review board, and then they let us know it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And when I saw the title, like Johnny Cash, I immediately told Dan, because he's really big into Johnny Cash, Mel Tillis, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, stuff like that. I hadn't even heard your song yet. And I said, this is going to be right up your alley. Here you go, buddy. If you want it for the happy hour, it's all you. And he listens to it, and he was like, you might want to listen to this song. So of course I put the earphones on and I was listening to it and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be playing this song too. It was a great song and it was a huge introduction into, the band Chamberlain and what you're doing. Now, your new song, Consider It Done.
Yes.
Is it about Holly? I really hope so.
Well, it's about her now.
There you go.
You know how that works.
Yes, I hear you. Tell us about the song.
Really cool history with that song, actually. I wrote that with a very, 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 actually, I can say he's my best friend for sure. His name is Patrick Calvert. He lives actually in Nashville. And actually, at the time, how I know and met Patrick, his mother was my manager at the time. And she was married to Jimmy Fadden, who was the drummer for the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. And I was actually, they were kind enough when I first started, my career and doing the touring thing. And they were kind enough to invite me into their home in Nashville. And I lived with them for a long time and for a good couple years. And with Patrick being her son and us being so close in age, I mean, we're the exact same age actually. Yeah. And, we just hit it off. We're very, very, just became really, really good friends and a lot of guitar playing. And, even, between me and him, we even started our own group called, Calvert and Grant. And, because back then I went by the name Gary Grant. So we did that. And I wrote it with Patrick Calvert and another gentleman. His name's Billy Crane. Incredible songwriter. He's got songs cut by the Dixie Chicks, and he was a Sony Tree staff writer. So we got it published through Sony Tree Publishing back then, and that was the late '90s. And again, that's kind of when I kind of just took my break shortly after that. Never even really got it cut or anything like that. So I took my break and just bringing old material out of the woodworks. Yeah. I just kind of brought that out, and I was like, "Hi, what do you think?" And she liked it, so I was like, "Okay, let's do it."
It's a great song. So I have to ask you, why Gary Grant? Where did you come up with Grant?
Question.
Grant is my middle name. So back in the day, folks always told us that Chamberlain was too long, so they shortened it up. They did they said, no, let's go with Gary Grant, and that sounds a lot like Cary Grant, and it'll be more catchy. So that's just what I went with.
And who's they?
My booking agents, which I had probably 5 or 6. But my parents even thought it was a good idea to go by Gary Grant. They were really like my original managers, I guess you could say. I mean, I was I listened to my mom and dad on everything, so I mean, they pretty much told me how to even dress back then, But yeah,
I know how that works. They tell you what to wear, where to go, who to talk to, who to pretend date. What music you're gonna play. They rule you. So
I had to wear my hair a certain way. I couldn't go to the malls with my friends by myself unless other people were there. It was crazy.
And doesn't it make you wonder? That's makes me laugh. Then when we hear these, especially these young and up and coming artists that are like, "Oh my God, I want a label. Oh my gosh, I want this. I want that." And I'm like, "No, you don't. You just think you do, but you really don't."
Exactly.
So what made you decide to drop the Grant and go back with Chamberlain? I mean, obviously that's your real last name.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's too long, but why did you make that decision?
Well, to me, I guess to explain me, I am a big family man. I'm huge on family. Obviously, for at least us guys and things, it's a family name, so.
It's a great name. It is.
I went with Chamberlain just because I recently did lose my mother and father as well. I'm sorry to bring all these downer things and stuff, but it has been my life. I'm literally a country song in living life.
He really is.
Like, that is no joke.
Well, and everybody wants the truth. They don't want it sugar coated.
Yeah.
They want to know the real Gary. That's what they want to know. Because you've got your 18-year-old Gary, and then
Yeah.
of course in between you and now you had your military Gary and you had your police officer Gary. So
Yep.
if you had to look back on all the different Garys you've been, because that's a lot of different Garys, which one do you feel has had the most impact on your music today?
I would say Gary. No, I'm kidding.
I'm looking at you go, okay, we're all Gary here.
No. I would, the most influence on, I would say, really the law enforcement field. I know that sounds odd, but I would 100% say the law enforcement, military law enforcement field. 100%. It made me grow up real quick. And just all of the structure and the organization. Just being an artist isn't just isn't just about having talent. There's so much talent out there, and so many artists that don't get the recognition, the attention that they really deserve, and you really have to have a mindset, or at least those that are willing to help you, that's got a business mindset, because it is a business as well, even as an artist.
Absolutely.
And you've got to know how to run a business to be a successful artist anymore as well.
I'm glad you said that, because that is 100% correct. The days of going out and singing and someone showing up and going, oh, you know what, I'm going to make you a star, and then you're an overnight success. None of that's true. No, I don't know anybody who is an overnight success. It takes a lot of hard work, and like you said, you've got to not only have some talent, but you've got to be a business person. You got to make the right decisions. You got to get the right people under you, and that's one thing that we're trying to do with Cat Country, Pierce Media Group, all of the above. Is there are so many, and I'm getting to the point where I don't even use the word independent artist anymore. There are so many artists like yourself, like myself, that are so talented. The music is there. It just needs to be heard. And I find people that, at my day job, I like to say, they're like, "Oh, who are you interviewing on Tuesday?" And I'm like, I'm the band Chamberlain. They're like, "Well, because they're young, and most of them don't even listen to country." And I'm like, "Do you want to hear one of his songs?" And they were like, "Yeah." So I played them, both of them. And there was a group of them, I want to say around 8, and all of them said, I would buy that song. But none of them had heard it. Because, they're a slave to the top 40, and there's so much more music out there, and that's what we're trying to do, is let people know, hey, it's okay to know the top 40, but don't put yourself in a box. There are people like, Gary Chamberlain out there that is making awesome music that needs to be heard, and I'm just really glad that we're in a position now that we can make sure that it gets heard.
You guys are awesome. I can't tell you how thankful I am that y'all exist, honestly. Like, really,
Well,
I mean, you're the folks that you're that person that makes sure it does get heard. I can only sing as loud as I can. You guys are that human amplifier,
Right.
You're that speaker, you're that microphone that makes sure that I can perform for more people, and more people can actually hear my music. So I'm
it
very
definitely needs to be heard, and as well as I do, when you get hundreds of submissions daily, it's you. I call them ugly babies. There's, and I've got them. We've all got them, ugly babies. And, I've got songs that will never, ever hit the airwaves because I have ugly babies. And, and some people take it so personal if you send something in and it doesn't happen to make the review board. You know what? Just because that one didn't doesn't mean the next one won't.
Right. Exactly.
And keep sending them in. I mean, not everybody can be like yourself. Y'all send in like Johnny Cash. Boom. That was a no-brainer. It went straight into all of our shows. All of them were playing them. Myself, Dan, Arliss, Dawn, everybody was spinning them. So yeah, does it make it a little easier when we see another email come in that we go, oh, Gary's got another song? Immediately, do you want to hear it? Yeah. I mean, it helps. It definitely helps. But, people need to keep doing it. They just need to keep sending them in. So, we have a lot more in common than you realize, because I was a deputy sheriff for years.
Right.
So in Texas, and I
What?
yeah. Yes. And like yourself, I used a different name. I used a different name because it was it made it difficult sometimes to do my job, especially when it was in the newspaper and they put where I worked and people started calling dispatch, and it made it really difficult. So I hung up my badge in 2014, and
Well, thank you for your service.
Oh, well, then that's one reason why I wanted to know more about you, and because you've got many hats. You've got Gary's out the wazoo with different things that you did, and I think that's very interesting that you said that it's your law enforcement and your military background that you think is the driving factor in your music today. So, are you doing any military songs that are coming out?
I've got a few on the back burner, yes. Possibly coming out soon. Yeah.
He was just writing one in the kitchen a couple weeks ago, for sure, with a neat idea. So we need to work on that one.
Yeah.
So now, do you write all your songs by yourself, or do you have a team that you use, or a specific kind of group of guys that you always go with, or is this strictly all you? He's pointing at you, Holly.
This thing right here.
You mean your wife?
Really, when it comes to
this thing right here.
Yeah, right. When it comes to the music, I would say it's me for sure. Melody, music, structure, even some lyrics, obviously, and things.
Absolutely.
But she helps. Holly helps tremendously when it comes to the lyrics and some of the wit in the lyrics and things. So
here's the $1 million question: when y'all are writing together, do you argue?
Oh yes.
All the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm so glad to hear that, because Dan and I do the same thing.
So I'm like, no, it's supposed to be this way, because you need to have this structure because it needs to have this rhyme with this rhyme, and then I mean,
I'm working on structure. It's a process, but it comes together quite nicely. But yes, we do.
That is so funny, because we were the exact same way. And I'm the rhymer, and I'm like, it's got to rhyme, and Dan's like, nothing, that doesn't always have to rhyme, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of does.
That is me. I'm like, yes, it has to have structure.
It kind of does. But I struggle hearing the music. I can write the words, but I struggle hearing the music. But Dan can hear the music, but he struggles with the words. But even when you put us together, you think that would really work. It still doesn't. We still fight. We do. So how long have y'all been writing together?
Since we met.
Yeah, since we met, for sure. That was something that we immediately connected on.
Yeah. I've actually I wrote a song. I was actually working on a song when we met.
You had the meeting. Yeah, you know it's your song, you wrote it.
Well, it's called The Dance Floor, and I was opening up for Jason Michael Carroll here at a show here in Indy. And this beautiful thing was out on the dance floor, and you know how it is when you're on the stage, especially those larger stages with the bright lights, and you can't really see anything out in the audience at all. I could actually see her, all bull crap aside, like I could actually see her, and she stood out to me, and And now she pulled some things. Now this is what I'm going to have her tell you, because she pulled some things in order to speak with
I had to
me.
have I did. I actually I didn't go out often at all anymore. I was a stay-at-home mama of 3 beautiful babies, and my son had just gotten out of the hospital a couple of weeks ago for a little scare that ended up being just fine. And my best friend said, "Holly, we have an extra ticket to this concert. You got to come out." I'm like, "No, not interested." And she talked me into going out. She was like, "You need to get out. You deserve it. You've had a long couple of weeks." So ended up going out and seeing this handsome man. And I said to her, I was like, "I'm gonna marry that man." And then
Really?
I did. I had to. So I went and found their merch table, and I asked their merch salesman. I said, I think I went to high school with that guy, the bass player. What's his name? That way I could figure out his name. And anyway, I ended up spilling the beans that I was definitely interested in this guy. And she told me a little bit about him, and then I went and got a picture with him, and then we exchanged some words and contact info, and then it's just, we've been inseparable since.
And how long has it been now?
4 years.
4
4
years.
years.
We just had our 3-year anniversary on the 18th.
Of April?
This month, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank
you.
That's awesome. I mean, nowadays, that's a milestone.
Yeah.
It really is. That's a milestone nowadays. Okay, so Holly, give me some dirt on him. I know you got it. I know
Honestly,
you got it.
I always say that he's from a different planet because he doesn't have a lot of dirt. I mean, he's very neat man, and he's good at everything that he does. And there's just, he is. I loved music, and I sang in high school, and little itty bitty things from my town, and I had no idea that somebody else could love music more than I did. And he just, he times that by like 1,000 million trillion. But he's so incredibly talented, and he's so deserving of moving musical mountains. So I don't have a whole lot of dirt.
I would totally agree with you. His music is outstanding. It truly is. And I'm just really glad that y'all were able to come on. And Gary, I think it's really awesome that you brought Holly with you, because a lot of these that we do, we know they're married, but they don't talk about it. They don't mention it because, a lot of people think, "Oh, will I lose fans?" And yeah, there's probably a bunch of women right now going, "Crap. I thought he was single," and yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of that right now happening, but it speaks volumes to me that you brought her with you. I think that is not only sweet, but awesome. I really think that's great. I think y'all are a really, really great couple, and I think there's only more to come from Band Chamberlain. I truly do. Holly, do you sing?
I do.
She's actually singing on Like Johnny Cash. She's doing harmonies on there for us. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
She is very much part of Band Chamberlain. Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, okay. So some duets are coming?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure. We actually
we had one.
Yeah,
we recorded that one.
Come on, tell her.
Yep.
Tell her.
Yep. All right. So this is 2019. No, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2020. Corona season just hit, and we're, that's when everybody's locked in their homes, and everybody's, upset that they have to be locked in their homes. And Gary and I are like partying because we love being with each other, and
because you're locked in your home.
and we would hang out, 24 hours a day. But anyway, long story short, we ended up, I'm in the kitchen that morning, and I'm making breakfast, and I wanted to, put Alexa on and start jamming out to some breakfast music. And he's sitting there with a mandolin, no joke. And he's like, "Why don't we just make our own music, baby?" And, then we wrote this song in a couple of hours. And the first time that we recorded it, you can tell them the rest.
Yeah, it's called "I Think of You." We recorded it on the back of the toilet. Because we went into the bathroom and we wanted the really good acoustics and all of that. And when we play it in our live show now, we promise everybody, we swear it's not a crappy song. And but yeah, it's called "I Think of You," and we yeah, like Holly said, we posted it during the COVID, and it kind of went viral when we first posted it. Yeah, like several thousand views on that one, and
can you give us a little a cappella of it? Maybe just the chorus or something. I'm not gonna make you run. I'm not gonna make you run and grab your guitar or anything, but I'd love to hear a little bit of it.
Well, you do know my guitar's only like a couple feet away. I can grab it.
Of course.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Of course it is. This is exciting.
Yay!
Yes, absolutely. So, all right.
Just do the chorus.
You just want the chorus, all the whole thing.
Whatever you want to give us.
Every morning I hop out of bed, long before a word is said. I think of you. I think of you.
Though I'm lying there with my eyes closed, while you're in the bathroom trimming your toes, I think of you. I think of you.
Can't seem to get you off my mind. I guess I'm thinking about you all the time, and I wish that I could prove that to you. Oh, but baby, I must confess, you already do, and I feel blessed when I think of you. I think of you. There's a little taste of it, but yeah,
that is awesome. Yeah. That is a great song.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going to be releasing?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, yes. You know, we had a recording of that, but I wasn't happy with it, so we're gonna keep working on it and all that fun stuff. But yeah, we are definitely working on that.
It has a stand-up bass.
Neat
instrument, so it'll be good.
Yeah.
I definitely think y'all should release that. I really, truly do.
Okay.
And if I didn't think that, I would just go, "Oh, yay, that was nice." But no, I really that was really cool. It's a cool song. I like it. I like it. So, okay, so Gary, where can people find Band Chamberlain's music?
Well, we like to promote our Facebook. We are working on a website. This is a work in progress. I didn't realize all of the work it takes into building a website and things like that.
Yeah, we're delegating those tasks
absolutely.
a little bit more now, so it's taking a little bit longer.
Yeah. So we're working on that, but for now, absolutely Facebook. Facebook is number one, the big one.
Okay.
It's facebook.com/Band Chamberlain.
Okay, and then where are y'all playing right now?
Well,
we have a really exciting little town show coming up.
Yeah, we have a big show here in Lebanon, Indiana. We're the Parks and Recreation Department is bringing us out and
kicking off the summer.
Yeah, with the opening pool day for Memorial Day weekend and
lots of vendors.
Yeah, all kinds of vendors and
full band.
Oh yeah, full band.
Does it cost? Is it going to cost for anybody to get in, or is it just show up?
That's what I'm saying. That the Parks Department and us, we're working together and bringing vendors out and really just trying to give back to the community. And it's more of it's a celebration that the pool's opening, but it's also a celebration that great things are happening with Band Chamberlain.
And and that's in Indiana.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
So how far is Indiana from Myrtle Beach?
9.5 hours, I believe.
Yeah, I would say about 9.5 hours, something like that. Not too far.
No.
Well, maybe we can talk Pierce Media Group into sending up Outlaw and Lace to stream it live. That would be really pretty darn cool.
You know how cool that would be. It's really going to be. It really is going to be quite a shindig. Yeah. It really is.
Well, make sure we have all that information.
Absolutely.
I'm getting the flag here. So I tell you what, it's been great getting a chance to get to know you and all the different Garys. I wasn't aware of all the different Garys. And then, of course, I did not even realize that Holly was a singer herself. And and I think it's really great. And I want to thank you personally for allowing Cat Country to have the very first spin of Consider It Done. Yeah, Don stole it. He stole it. But for you, that's awesome. He's got a huge following, and of course now we're all playing it, but he technically did get the very first one on Monday. So yesterday. So I want to thank y'all again, and everybody once again in conversation with Cat Country, the band Chamberlain.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
So much.
Pleasure. It really has.
Of course.
Consider it